And also I have these. These are some they're things for children to colour in through the liturgy. Can I give these to you as well?
Yes.
Can you give those to your mum? Ikos I tris tu minos in Kyriakitis Apokrios in teletriai mera για να φάμε κρέας πριν από το Πάσχα. Έχουμε σούβλα εδώ μετά από την Θεία Λειτουργία. Παρακαλώ να κλείσετε θέσεις με τις κυρίες για να ξέρουμε πόσα άτομα θα είναι. The 23rd of February is the Sunday of meat where it's the last day for eating meat before Easter. If you'd like to attend, please book with the ladies so we know how many people. Also on the Saturday the 15th, it'll be next Saturday, there is a barbecue at the Cypriot Centre opposite, Saturday night. Το επόμενο Σάββατο το βράδυ έχει σούβλα στην Κυπριακή Αδελφότητα απέναντι. Η άφησα είναι στο Facebook page της Αδελφότητας, αν θέλετε να πηγαίνετε εκεί. Το επόμενο Σάββατο είναι 15 του μηνός. Ναι. On I've forgotten which day of the week, the 27th of February is the funeral for Sotiris Soflias. Some of you might remember him. We haven't seen him for a number of years. He's had a dementia. He's passed away. His funeral will be on the 27th of February. Η νεκρόσιμα ακολουθία του μακαριστού Σωτηρίου Σοφλία θα γίνεται 27 του Φεβρουαρίου. Today, of course, is the beginning of the Triodion, the Sunday of the Publican and the Pharisee. I'm starting my sermon by saying, imagine a doctor approaching a sick person on his bed and saying, "Where do you hurt?" And the sick person boasts to the doctor that he's healthy. I'm sure you'll agree this is a very silly analogy to start, as if the doctor visits the person to see how well he is and not what he is suffering from. And today's Gospel reading brings us a very similar story. Two people visit the house of God to pray, but one of them believes he is perfect and holy. All of us are sick, and the disease that afflicts all of us is the same. It is sin. Now, the most seriously ill are those who are least aware of their condition. Remember, someone with high fever knows nothing about himself or his illness. So let us all consider this. Let us listen to Christ's parable of the publican and the Pharisee to think how much it concerns each one of us. If we exclaim in surprise, "This parable does not concern me," it means we are afflicted with a spiritual disease called sin, but our sickness has reached its final stage. If we protest like the Pharisee and say, "I am righteous, this parable is about sinners around me," it means the disease has gone too far. You see, the Pharisee was very seriously ill, suffering from the disease of injustice and arrogance. And in the fever of his illness, he did not understand how seriously ill he was. So what was the Pharisee saying? "God, I thank you that I am not like the rest of the people." This is what he appears to say. However, from everything he says, it appears he doesn't really thank God for anything at all. Instead, he blasphemes God by blaspheming the rest of his creation. We read in the Psalms, "Let his prayer become sin." He does not really thank God for anything. What he says about himself, he attributes to his own actions, to the deeds he alone achieved without the help of God. In no case will he say that he is not unjust, adulterer, or a publican, because God protected him from those sins with his power and mercy. He is who he is because he himself values himself that way. That is a worthy man of excellent character and matched in the whole world. And this extraordinary character makes efforts and sacrifices to maintain himself at this high level, higher than all other people, and especially that publican over there, which he actually says in the parable. And this is what he means when he boasts that he fasts twice a week and he gives a tenth of everything he earns. What an easy way did the Pharisee choose to be saved. Of all the commandments God gave to the Jewish people through Moses, he chose two quite easy ones, and he doesn't really observe any. You see, God did not give these two commandments because he himself needed us to fast or needed us to give him a tenth of our wealth. David wrote in the Psalms, "Thou art my God, for thou hast no need of my goods." God did not give these or any other commandments to the people as an end in themselves, but to bear fruit in humility and obedience to God, in love for him and for our fellow man. In short, the commandments were given by God to soften and enlighten the hearts of men. The Pharisee kept the commandments without purpose. He fasted and he gave a tenth of his property, but he hated others, despised them, and he himself stood arrogantly before God. So he was a fruitless tree. With this parable, Christ wanted to show us that perverted piety and misguided Pharisaism belong to us as well, to all generations of Christians up until our time. Are we certain there are no Christians among us who pray to God in the same way as the Pharisee? I thank God for being so good, I am not like that sinner over there. And many of us begin our prayers with accusations and reproaches against our neighbour, and again, like the Pharisee, it's not my fault really, God, it's all those people over there. And we stand before God as lenders before their debtors. Many of us say, I go to church, I donate to the church, I am not like other people. Again, we are falling into the same trap of the Pharisee. St. Maximus tells us, God cannot deceive you, and neither can you deceive him. Everyone makes the sign of the cross, but not everyone prays. And this is how the Pharisees of all time speak. God hears them and sends them away empty. He answers them, I do not recognize the description you gave of yourself. And in the final judgment, he will say to them, I never knew you, go away from me, you evildoers. God does not recognize his friends by their words, but by their hearts. And in exactly the same way that he does not value the fig tree by its leaves, but by its fruits. So, my dear brothers and sisters, as we begin the period of the Triodion today, we must not emulate the boasting voice of the Pharisee, but the prayer of the publican, which we say so many times in our church services. Let us all cry, God be merciful to me, a sinner. For the prayers of our Holy Father, Lord Jesus Christ, our God, have mercy upon us and save us. Amen.